Honor the past, believe in the future. That is the theme for our blue and gold dinner. As I look across this room, I believe that we hold true to that statement. With the foundation laid by the people such as the past inductees I mentioned earlier, and other alumni scattered throughout the audience, coupled with the tremendous work of our administrators, coaches, and current student athletes who are in attendance tonight, our future looks bright. This is something that we should all be very proud of. It is incredible to think about and honor our past. And with the young people that we see right before our eyes, it is easy to believe in our future. I'm overwhelmed by the quality of our company tonight and proud that you are all Wildcats. And as we honor our past while believing in our future, I too am proud to be a Wildcat. Our inductees tonight, the Cazenovia College Athletics Hall of Fame class of 2015, fall right in line with the high standards and impressive commitment to excellence and pride that we happily honor as an athletics department and as an institution of higher learning. And now to present our first inductee of the evening, I am pleased to call upon John Baden. John, the lectern's all yours.
First thing I noticed today, President Panay and Michael Brooks, they're members of the Cazenovia Athletic Hall of Fame. I mean, how often do you get that kind of commitment and that kind of loyalty? I think they deserve a great big hand. Friends, student, alumni, friends, and family. I first met Aaron Vaber when he was a fifth grader. He walked up to me in my science class and he said, "I'm going to play baseball for you someday." Well, I had him in class and I noticed something about him. I noticed his enthusiasm in everything he did. I noticed his work ethic. He was a hard worker in everything he did. Flash over to senior high school. Here comes Aaron Vaber. He brings with him, he played football for me before baseball. But anyway, he brings with him the same enthusiasm and the same work ethic to the baseball field. And that kind of always stayed with him and his teams. And the accolades followed in high school. He was all-league. He was captain. He was MVP. And his senior year, he was athlete of the year. The same attribute. Well, guess what? I guess he carried those same attributes to Cazenovia College. Because, lo and behold, that's why we're here tonight. He was captain his junior and senior years. He was MVP both years. In his junior year, he was the most outstanding male athlete at Cazenovia. And in 2002, he was the Northeast Athletic Conference Player of the Year. This is why we're here to honor Aaron, and I'd like to bring Aaron up at this time, because I'm sure he'll bring this enthusiasm right with him.
Thanks, Coach. I want to say thanks again to Coach Baden for the introduction. Thanks to Mike Brooks and Cazenovia College in general for the award. And congratulations to Brian and I forgot her name, Jessica on their award as well. It's really funny for me to be back. Things look different, but the same. And coming through here now, it's funny. Going to a baseball practice, I walked through here, and the state police were at a recruiting table right through that door. And when I went by them, the sergeant said, "Oh, look at this guy. He looks like he could be a state trooper." And I looked right at him and said, "I'm not running radar the rest of my life," and went right by him. So for the last 10 years, I've been running radar for the New York State Police. Yeah. So baseball, yeah, he kind of took a little bit about what I was going to say about fifth grade, but my career starts in fourth grade, and I want to talk a little bit about some of my coaches that I had along the way. And one of the first ones was a guy named Rick Bisbee, and played with his son Adam Bisbee for the First National Braves down in Homer. And right from the start, I got some success with the sport, and I liked it, enjoyed it, and he was the type of coach that he was fundamentally sound, pushed you to do good, but he made it so much fun that I knew right then, like, this is a fun sport, I want to play it, and he's correct. And I went to him in fifth grade and told him I was going to play for him. He actually said, is that right? Is what he said, is that right? I said, yeah. He counted off the years, and he's like, yeah, I'll still be there by the time that you get there. So I went there, and along the way, there was also a fifth grade teacher who was our JV coach, Rodney Camoli, who was a great coach too. I had a lot of fun with him. It seemed like he was making me run the fence because I was having too much fun. I had a long fence. The other thing about Coach Baden going off to high school there, besides being a great coach and a lot of fun, it actually, the chaplain here mentioned Yogi Berra passing. I couldn't help but think of him being a Yankee fan and the fact that we had a whole book put together my senior year of Badenisms because he like cut from the same cloth or something, and we realized like my sophomore and junior year, we have to write this stuff down or we'll forget it. But I'll skip over to why Cazenovia College. And honestly, I had no idea that I was going to go to Cazenovia College. Had no interest in the college because I just didn't know. And I actually ran into Bill Sullivan, who I played with, who played here in the summer. And also Joseph Broker, who was a catcher here. He played for the Cortland Purple something or others down there, our crosstown rivals. And he actually said, you should come up to Cazenovia College, check it out. I want to thank Pete Lydell, who was a great coach. He took me in, showed me around the place, said I have a shot to play. He didn't guarantee me a spot, and there was already a third baseman that had been there the year before. But, you know, thinking about what I would say tonight, I really don't remember a lot of specific games anywhere. I remember more people, a couple things. I remember the first hit. I don't know if you remember that. It was Vassar College down in Cocoa Beach. And after that, he had actually pinch hit me. I was sitting on the bench pretending to be a good teammate and all that. And he put me in the but he put me in the game. I got a hit to the wall on a double. And then after that, the next game I was starting. And I was like, I'm going to show him that I deserve to start. I never didn't start after that. And also, thanks guys. Yeah. The first home run that I hit was against Skidmore College, which made him very happy because those were like Red Lobster games. So the first two home runs were against Skidmore College, his former place or his former team. So I never told Coach or anybody about this story. I was going to transfer to another college after my freshman year. I actually had a pretty good year and was thinking about taking off and pretty well lined up. And I told you I don't remember a lot about specific games, but I had a great-grandmother, my great-grandmother Silvino, and Jim and Bev, my grandparents back here. They would take her, my great-grandmother, to the game. She was wheelchair-bound at the time. And talking to her after that year, I told her I was thinking about transferring, and she was adamantly against it. She said no. And I knew from her point of view that it was basically because she wanted to see me play. If I had gone down to Pennsylvania, there's no way she was going to see me play. So I decided to stay, and I'm glad I did, because for me it's more about the memories and the people that I played with. And that actually, now I'm going to jump back, that actually goes back to fourth grade, I'm seeing Terry Fenda. Thanks for her coming tonight. We go a second mom, but her son Michael Fenda. When I met this kid at a different sport, football, had put electrical tape on his helmet that spelled out the word untouchable, and I was like, no, not in my league. So I made a point to hit this kid as hard as I could, and he was like an enemy of mine until we ended up playing on the traveling all-star game for baseball for the Little League there. And we became best friends then, and we're still best friends to this day. And it's kind of funny because you start thinking about these things. It's like without baseball, that wouldn't have happened. And I see some of these baseball players out here, Pete Way, Big Country. It's like, I don't even know his name. It's Big Country. It's Jason Wetmore's back there. To me, that's Salad. It's just, it's the people, it's those types of things that I think about when I think back to it. But I would say more than any relationship that came because of baseball, because honestly, I wouldn't have gone here if it wasn't for baseball. It's a great academic institution, and that's why I'm glad that they are very good at promoting the athletics, because I think it's a big part for people who maybe didn't necessarily want to go to college. They didn't know what they wanted to do, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Coach got me over here, and I figured out my major kind of as I went, kind of made it up. But I want to say, too, to Marge Panay, it's nice to see her, and I think that's great that you're the interim president. I'm really happy about that. We go back to this Washburn Fellowship that she managed my funds that I was awarded. She was checking in on what I was spending, but she's great for the program. But thinking about that Washburn Fellowship, there's John Robert Green, who's a professor here. One of my duties was to make this PowerPoint presentation for an author coming from Chapman University at the time. Name was Robert Slayton, and he said, send a copy of that PowerPoint presentation to this girl, Sarah Kimball. And I'm like, what for? Don't know her, don't care. And I'd been here for 4 years, had no clue who she was. So night of this black tie dinner, in comes my in-laws here, Wayne and Sherry Kimball, and my lovely wife, Sarah, comes in through the door. And I'm like knocking my dad with my leg under the table, like, that's Sarah Kimball. She can have about five PowerPoints. Like, it's fine. Yeah, Mace. That was a good one. Yeah, so she had, that was in the fall semester, and I didn't see her. I'm like, where's this girl? I had tracked this girl down, and she was in Cortland State, and she had transferred in, so she wasn't living around here. I was like, that's the problem. Well, as fate would have it, the last class of my last semester here, we magically get seat to seat. And I was like, yes, thank you. Thank you, God. And I basically, we talked a lot, had a good time, and I was like, I got to get her out of this classroom. She's only seen classroom Vaber. She needs to see baseball Vaber. So I had said, why don't you come to one of our baseball games? She's like, yeah, I'll try and make it. I said, no, if you go to the game, I'll hit you a home run. And that next game, there she is. So now the pressure's on, because it's not easy to hit a home run, even in a home run derby. It's not an easy thing to do. So I'm like, I didn't even care about the result of the game. I'm just like, I gotta hit a home run. So hit a home run, give her the home run ball after the game. And yeah, that was nice. So I give her the home run ball, and a year after that, we were married, and now 12 years of marriage and 3 kids later, can't believe you fell for that. So. And of course, I do have to thank my parents more than anything. And I appreciate my friends and family coming out. I came a far way, I really do. It's nothing more important to me than God and family, and they made this trip, and I do appreciate that. All those practices, I mean, that's a lot of run around times 4, and then times 3 sports. For me, that's nonstop. But I'll close with I brought the first and last Baden book. And what's funny is, and Coach Lydell will attest to this, there's people that you run into in high school that you played against, coaches, Southeast kids from Corcoran, they would do impersonations of my coach telling me to do what? Come on, throw the barrel, Vaber. These types of things. But this is a long book, and I'll give you one, and they're actually pretty hilarious. But one thing you have to do in college and in high school is field prep, and you got to take care of it. You don't have a crew there. Well, I get done raking the mound. I'm walking away, going to do something else, and here comes Coach up there. He's got the steel rake, stands over this mound, not impressed with the job that was done. And he's like, who the heck raked this mound? Okefenokee? And I didn't tell him that it was me that raked it. But I'm like, Coach, who's Okefenokee? He's like, whoever raked this mound. But thanks to the college and thanks to everybody. I appreciate it. And thank you, Director Brooks.
Thank you, John, and congratulations, Aaron, once again for your well-deserved induction into the Wildcats Hall of Fame. I now invite Cazenovia College graduate Sean McCann to introduce our next inductee. Sean?
Thank you very much, Mr. Brooks. How about one more round of applause for Aaron Vaber? He never touched on those stats. Those are incredible numbers, really. Huh. Where am I? Thank you all for joining us this evening. I promise to keep this short and sweet. As you know, my name is Sean McCann. I'm from the class of 2001. Tonight I have the privilege of making Cazenovia College history. I have been asked to introduce to you the first ever inductee into the Cazenovia Athletics Hall of Fame from the men's soccer program. When I arrived here in Cazenovia in 1998, men's soccer was in its second season. I was very excited and fortunate to be able to further my education and while playing the sport that I truly love. The team consisted of a very young group. I believe we had a total of 10 freshmen on the roster. We practiced hard and we grew into a respectable program. Well, one of those wide-eyed youngsters is here with us tonight. Let's talk individual stats for a second. Tonight's inductee scored a total of 42 goals, 34 assists, and for you soccer people, that comes to 118 points in his 4-year career here. He became our leader quickly. Whether you loved him or you couldn't stand his face, you couldn't help but respect his intensity on the field and in practice, or perhaps when he was ordering food at a restaurant. He expected the same from all of us, to do our best. This man has a story to tell, one I hope you all enjoy. Without further delay, it's showtime. Please join me in welcoming my teammate, my friend, my brother into the Cazenovia College Hall of Fame. From the class of 2003, Mr. Brian Krux.
Wow, Sean, that was something else, but thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Cazenovia College and the entire athletics program. Thank you, Michael Brooks, for your role in giving me the nod. It's big time. Thank you, most importantly, to my mother, Sheila Mary Smith, Krux, Marsh, wait, Carrie, the two. Yep, that's right. Without you, Mom, none of this is possible. For those of you who don't know her, she graduated Cazenovia College in 1971. She's been an advisor here at the school for over 25 years. Very special person to me, obviously. I'd also like to give a big shout out to Cindy T.G., my advisor, for my tenure here at Cazenovia College. I know I wasn't the easiest student to deal with for all these years. She was also thrilled when I graduated. A lot of people thought I'd be inducted into the Hall of Fame for my hair. God, I miss that. My keg stands, or possibly my botanical skills. However, I had quite an illustrious soccer career. I have to thank my teammates throughout the years for giving me a solid platform to score all those goals and assists. I am humbled and honored to be standing here on the stage tonight. Soccer has always been a passion of mine. Unfortunately for me, I was a late bloomer. When I graduated high school, I was 5'0" and 140 pounds soaking wet. I probably had a total of 90 minutes total playing time as a varsity. I played 2 years varsity soccer in high school, and I probably had a total of about 90 minutes playing time. When I left Fayetteville Manlius High School, right down the road here, I went to Ithaca College. I was cut from the walk-on squad 2 years in a row. Ithaca College decided that I was not taking academics seriously enough, and they asked me to pack my bags. To say the least, I wasn't ready for college when I left high school. Clearly, my parents weren't thrilled with my performance, and it was my mother who stayed motivated to get me an education. She insisted I get my butt in gear and enroll in Caz. None of this would be possible without her constant efforts and support to get me a better education. Thank you so much, Mom. It wasn't until I stepped on the field somewhere in the middle of my freshman year when I started leading our team. It was a young team, as Sean said. I was named captain my sophomore year, and something happened to me mentally. I'm not really sure what, but I had a mindset change, and I just started leading the team. I was always trying to make myself better and lead my team and tell them to do the same thing, teach them to do the same thing. I was able to lead them both on and off the field, I'd like to think. As important as my education has been for me in my workplace, my ability to lead and communicate has been equally as important. I learned all of these skills with my teammates on the field. I've been working in restaurants all my life. I've been managing employees since I left college in 2003. As all of you know, restaurants can be a stressful workplace at times, and because of my leadership role as a Wildcat, I find it almost second nature in the workplace to stay cool and keep my coworkers help through tough nights. I'd like to think that I do some of my best work under pressure. It's kind of second nature. After I graduated Caz, I wanted to travel. I lived in South Florida, Costa Rica, Montreal, Charleston, South Carolina, and now I live in Stowe, Vermont. Upon moving to each one of these places, one of the first things I do is hop on the internet and find the local soccer game and jump on a team. I've met so many amazing people and had some of my most memorable experiences through connections I've made playing soccer. I cannot stress this enough. None of this is possible without my experiences here at Cazenovia College and the college giving me a second opportunity. Somehow soccer has worked its way into so many special moments and opportunities for me. In 2010, I started coaching. I started at the freshman level, and I did private one-on-one lessons that summer. The next year, I coached the JV squad, and that year I developed a relationship with the varsity coach, and he asked me to jump on the varsity team, and that year we won a state championship. The following summer, I was asked to join the youth soccer program in Morrisville, Vermont, and the boys I coached in JV asked me to go to Barcelona, Spain with them and chaperone their trip to Barcelona, Spain that they do every other year. Very special, obviously. The bonds I've formed with the coaches and kids will last a lifetime. It's been great to watch these boys grow to young men. I'd like to think that the lessons I've given them on the field and the life lessons I've given them off the field will be with them for a long time. I'll share one memory with you guys. I think maybe it was written in the pamphlet, but I think it was the inaugural UAA conference tournament in 2000. It was a 2-day tourney, and we easily beat Hilbert College in the first round. In the championship game, we met Medaille College, a team that we had beaten twice in the regular season. They stepped on the field that day, a different team, and knocked the goal in early on us. They put about 8 or 9 guys in the box and played defense for 75 minutes or so. With about 5 minutes left, I was fouled about 25 yards out and laced a laser beam into the upper left-hand corner to send the game into overtime. About 5 minutes into overtime, I sent a corner kick to Joey Fisher, who finished the game, and we won the championship. So I got MVP of the tournament. I don't know, I scored a bunch of goals and assists in the first game. But it's still one of the best moments of my life. Definitely, I'll remember forever. I'd like to thank everyone so much for attending tonight, and I cannot say thank you enough to my mother and to Cazenovia College. This is very, very special for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean, and congratulations, Brian, on your well-deserved induction into the Hall of Fame. I now invite Wayne Mandel to lectern to present our final inductee of the night into the Hall of Fame. Wayne?
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Many years ago, I had the opportunity of being a referee for the Central New York Volleyball Association. And one of my rounds led me into some of these small little rural areas. And one of them was a small town of DeRuyter. And as I was watching these young girls work hard and play hard and be supported by their families, it amazed me that the amount of ambition and the strength of a small community like that could be all funneled into one or several players. So I watched this little girl, and I mean little height-wise. I watched her become a good player, and then I watched her become a good captain, and then I watched her become a good coaching captain player for a very wonderful coach down there by the name of Mr. Burdick. Fast forward a couple years, all of a sudden, I have another player on our squad here, and I recognize her. She's the girl from DeRuyter. I watch her become an excellent player, better than she was. I watch her become a captain. I watch her become a captain, coach, assistant, just about everything that a head coach could want out of one player. And Jessie, and I just found this out tonight, I'm the first person to ever call her Jessie, and I guess it's stuck, so. Jessie helped the team in ways that are difficult to measure, not only on the court, allowing her to lead the other teammates in physical, mental, and just preparation for the games, but it also allowed myself to focus on the other players on the team that didn't need as much help as she did. And she took over on the court and off the court and really stopgapped the places where I needed the help. So without any further ado, I'd like to invite Jessie up here onto the stage and let her have a few words. Jessie, please.
Okay, so first, I just want to say that I am short. I am honored to stand up here tonight as an inductee into the 2015 Hall of Fame. class. I would like to say thanks to the Hall of Fame Selection Committee. I know it takes a long time and it's a hard decision, and I thank them for recognizing me and deciding that my accomplishments were worthy of getting inducted, and thank you to Michael Brooks. So, volleyball. It is one of the first loves of my life. I started playing in junior high, moved up to junior varsity early on in middle school, and then moved up to varsity early on after that. And then it became something where I couldn't get enough of it. Everybody knows how sports in high school work. It's one season. It's like 3 months. So I started trying to find as many ways as I could to play volleyball all the time. I was doing summer camps. I was trying to do leagues whenever I could. I would go up and play at like Trappers in Syracuse. I was doing things like, we put up a volleyball net in our hayloft. Probably not the safest place to be playing volleyball, but we did it. And I went over to Coach Burdick's house. He had a net in his barn, and I used to play with him and his family. Any way that I could that I could find to play the sport that I loved, I did it. And my family supported me. Mom trucked me all over the place to do this sport that I loved. Then I actually didn't start at Cazenovia. I went to Syracuse first. And I wasn't playing sports there, and I just didn't feel it. It wasn't the same. So I took a semester off and coached at my high school. And Wayne was still refereeing. And I saw him at one of the games, and he was like, "What are you doing? Where are you playing?" And I said, "Nowhere." He was like, "You know what you should do? You should come to Cazenovia, because I could use a sitter." So that next year, here I was. And it is one of the best decisions I have ever made in my entire life. Coming here and playing volleyball, I created some of the closest bonds I have ever made with other people. But just on that volleyball team, I still have contact with most of the members on the team. And you guys know, you're still friends. You were on the soccer team. This nice small community just creates just everlasting bonds. So my thank yous to my family for believing in me and supporting me and doing everything that you could to help me do whatever it was that I wanted to do with my crazy life. To my sister for whether it was following me around and playing around in the corner during all of my volleyball practices, or coming to whatever games in college that she could make. I love you and thank you all for that. You made some crazy sacrifices for me, which is a really big deal, and I want to thank you for that in front of everybody tonight. So, to Coach Mandel. Your skills and knowledge and love for the sport are inspiring, and were inspiring. If anybody didn't know, now what I do, I'm a CrossFit coach. I coach every single day. That's what I do. And without having the excellent coaches that I had here and in high school and things like that, but without having those wonderful coaches, I wouldn't have found my calling of what I was supposed to do. I'm supposed to be a coach. That's what I'm supposed to do. Without having those wonderful people and that can show me this is what it's supposed to be and this is how it's supposed to feel, I wouldn't have been able to figure out, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is perfect. So I thank you for that too. So yeah. And then the last thing that I wanted to say is, as a word of advice for any current student athletes, don't ever stop competing. Whether it's doing your current sport or doing something else, it is one of the things that has helped me get to know any new place that I've ever gone to. Like Brian said, any place that he's gone, he's looked up a soccer league and joined a league. It's a great way to meet people. I have made friends so fast anywhere that I have moved because that's what I do. I find a place to play volleyball, or if I can't find one of those, I find another sport that I can do so I can compete, because it's one of the best ways to make friends and get to know people around you. So don't ever stop competing. It's huge. All right? So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Wayne and Jessica. Before I get into my closing, I would just like to request that if all inductees and all their presenters could please come over after our ceremony, just so we can take a few pictures to remember this event. As the Director of Athletics at Cazenovia College, allow me to once again congratulate all of our inductees tonight. Your induction into the Hall of Fame is yet another link with the proud history of Cazenovia College. Congratulations. For everyone to know, nominations for next fall's Hall of Fame are already being accepted. Next year, our Blue and Gold Dinner will take place on Saturday, September 24th. All of this year's inductees are welcomed as guests of mine, free of charge, courtesy of Sherry Whitaker, to next year's event. Hope to see all of you again next year. Thanks for coming. Good evening and good night.